The coach door changed her life.
Mariah slapped her phone before it emitted another trilling beep. She had lowered the volume as far as she dared to still be able to wake up for class, but in the dark of night, the ringer still sounded far too loud. The snoring body next to her grunted and Mariah froze. The apartment was quiet. She even held her breath to make sure she didn't make a sound either. Once the body settled, Mariah lifted the covers and slipped out, as stealthy as a thief. And wasn't that what she was doing? Thieving her time away from Derek? Mariah tiptoed to the narrow walk-in closet, and only when the door was secure did she turn on the light. She blinked in the sudden illumination and released the breath she held as she pulled down the loose tank top, hunter green duster sweater, and dress slacks she had selected the night before. Mariah hated 8 a.m. classes and laid out her outfit the night before to cut back on the time it took to get ready.
For a college professor in her late 20s, makeup should have been an area of expertise for Mariah, but having spent much of her late teens and early adulthood with her nose in a book, makeup had remained a mystery to her. She was fortunate, however, that her lightly tanned skin only needed a quick application of BB cream and makeup that came in iridescent plastic kits, so all she had to do was open one kit, and everything else was ready. Eyeliner, shadow, mascara, a hint of blush and lip gloss. Her dark brown eyes were easily smoky, so that saved time as well. Then came the bane of her existence, a fluffy mound of ash blonde hair that was half wavy, half curly, and always a frizzy mess. Mariah called it her triangle mess. She pulled it into a bun or a banana clip nearly every day and called it good. Her hair was a disaster. She decided on a clip to keep it under control. It was too early to deal with her hair disaster. Zipping up her books, she grabbed a to-go cup of tea and her purse waiting by the front door, then peeked in her purse. Her keys weren't in her purse. Where the hell are my keys? She pressed her head against the apartment door and exhaled. In the bedroom, she had retrieved a book from her car last night beforehand and left the keys on her bedside table. Mariah pulled off her boots and, leaving them by the front door, slipped back into the bedroom, which was still dark thanks to the room darkening curtains. She palmed the keys so they wouldn't jingle and made it to the bedroom doorway, but she missed her count and banged the side of her head against the door jamb.
She held her breath again, sure that the banging woke Derek, but he continued to snore. His late night was paying off in her favor. Rubbing the side of her head, she made it back to the front door, zipped her boots back on, and left. Escape was more like it. Once she was in her car, she fully breathed again. I can't live like this, she told herself. She was an adjunct professor, making enough money to support herself, a feminist who was supposed to be a role model for her young college students, yet she lived with a narcissistic emotional abuser who gaslighted her on a regular basis. Mariah was not proud. Glancing at the clock in her car, she took a sip of her cooling tea and pulled out to the street toward campus.